Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Kev Play. This is Kevin, and we are on part or episode 38 of The Last of Us Part 2. Last time we're on this ferry, which we can see over there. I honestly think they could have cut the whole ferry portion out of the game. It felt I honestly thought I was going to get to a certain point in this game by now, but we still haven't got there. I totally forgot about the ferry. I'm not sure if it was worth it. I mean, I don't know. But well, who do I know? Like the game is supposed to be kind of a drawn-out thing, but I don't know. I feel like the game could use some trimming in some spots. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but I just feel like from a pacing perspective, I feel like there's a lot of extra fat on this game, and I get that part of it is that there should be some fat on the game, that it takes away from the whole revenge fantasy where it's like a long drawn out thing. Not a revenge fantasy, but rather a, like how extensive this world is and drawn out it is, and nothing's all tied up in a bow for you. It's cruel. Uh, it's laborious. It's like it's almost like you gotta go out of your way to be violent and all that. Hey, Papa Pig, how are you? I'm starting a little late today, but I definitely needed to get an episode in before this weekend. How's it going? A lot of dead bodies here. Discount E3 tomorrow. Yep. But before we talk about that, let's talk about what let's get everything else out of the way. So the state of play happened. I have to say, more or less, I really enjoyed the state of play. It did that thing I like, which is it offered me something that got me excited. That I wasn't expecting. I wrote down, like, I guess, I think what would help me with my expectations too is that they told you that there's going to be 14 games between PS5 and PSVR 2, and it's going to be stuff slated for either this year or maybe a little bleeding into next year or whatever. So I knew 14 games was going to be the thing. Yeah, it sucked, except for Astrobot, of course. It's a state of play, so I didn't expect anything like big from first party. I didn't expect, especially since I know that PlayStation Studios is supposed to be showing up at the Summer Game Fest in some way, in some form. Whether that means we're going to see more from Death Stranding 2, maybe a Ghost of Tsushima 2 reveal, I don't know. Or an announcement. I have no idea. But we got 14 games, they said. So I was ticking them off as it was going. And I was like, that kind of helped with my expectations, because I at least knew. I was like, okay, we have 5 more left. We have 4 more left. But I guess if I'm rolling it off, the first thing they showed was Concord, and I have to say, before I went on Twitter, because it's like Twitter and the real world are completely different things. When I saw Concord, I was like, okay, this is like a little delightful little shooter. It looks cool. It actually made me laugh in a couple of spots. And me, I've never played a hero shooter. I've never played Overwatch. I've never played any of the... I don't like play like Fortnite or anything, or any of these like, types of games or whatever, really. But this was a game where I was like, oh, okay, this is coming out August 23rd, I think the launch is, and there's a beta in July, and it looks like a really very good looking in terms of its graphics, aesthetics, very bright, colorful. Um, it looks like it's competent. It looks like they got, from what I can tell, they got some really talented people working on this game who have worked on first-person shooters. Um, I like the idea that like there's little vignettes, little cinematics that are happening each week that are kind of like adding kind of like developing the characters and painting a bit of a story of what's going on and stuff. So I was like, wow, that was actually pretty cool. I maybe I'll pick that up. I don't know. And then I went to Twitter, and then it was like it was as if somebody took a piss in the casserole or something. Like everyone was like, I can't believe this. It's another hero shooter. Why did Sony pay for this? Why did Sony buy the studio Firewalk? Um, it looks woke. It looks generic. And for me, first of all, I thought like the main protagonist girl. I was like, she's pretty cool. Like she seems pretty. Usually, what people are complaining about with PlayStation Studios is that the female protagonists are either too ugly. You think of, which I don't believe. I don't. But that seems to be the discourse. Like, oh, Aloy has peach fuzz on her cheek, or she looks like frumpy, or what's her name from Spider-Man? What's her name? Blanking on her name. Peter's girlfriend. She looks like toned down from the first game or something, and then you get stuff like Stellar Blade where it's like very hyper sexy, I guess would be the term. And then you have someone like this new girl she seems very like it's like no matter what, people have something to complain about. It feels like I wasn't expecting it. I was actually surprised people were this down on this game. I thought it seemed like an innocent game, and for me, I'm like, all these games, like people are always saying like, oh, PlayStation doesn't have variety. It's always over-the-shoulder, third-person adventures. And then finally we get something kind of different in terms of what PlayStation usually offers, and people are like shocked that this is like as if it doesn't fit in that in the ecosystem or something. Bro, go out and find a woman. Yeah, exactly. It's like, why do people get so worked up about how these girls look on like, I don't care at all. Like, it's the same way with film or TV or like. I just care about the character. I'm not interested in dating these people. But beyond that, it's just. I thought it was. I think it's an innocent game. In retrospect, I can see what people are saying where this is a studio that Sony seemed to buy right away before them ever really making a game for them, which is kind of out of character for Sony. Usually Sony allows the developer to make a game, and then based on its success they'll buy it later. Um, yeah, MJ, that's right. Um, so yeah, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, because one thing that is a fair argument is, which has been on my mind recently, is that video games is kind of special where you choose your platform, whether it's Xbox, Nintendo, Sony, and then you spent a lot of money on a console, and now it's like you almost have to like make the purchase worth it and invest in it. And whenever like something that's unique to the console comes out, it's usually a wise decision to buy it. And I've been thinking about that recently, like how every year there's like, if there's a strong first party offering, I'll get it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't really do this with TV shows. This isn't a problem I have with TV shows or movies where, you know, because you can watch movies and TV shows on any device. Nothing that's the only thing that's exclusive is the streaming services or what channel you're watching on. But regardless, it's all TV. It's all movies. You can pick up a physical copy and play it in a DVD or Blu-ray player, and you don't have to worry about counting up the investments of a machine you have that can play uh, these these I guess pieces of work or arts or whatever. With video games, you kind of do. You kind of have to if a Last of Us 3 comes out, I have to get it. Obviously, I'll get it because I love this game. But then if a new game comes out like Days Gone, I'm like, you know what? I have a PlayStation. Let me get this game. I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. I don't know if I'm gonna like Ghost of Tsushima or not. Um, and I've been thinking about this recently, where it's like there used to be a time where I used to buy games based on just me liking, being interested in the game itself, rather than it being exclusive or not, or thinking about the business side of it, or the artists, what the artists are putting into it. If it looked interesting on the shelf at a Walmart or a Best Buy, I'd be like, okay, let me try this game. That, or I do my research and look into it before buying. So nowadays it's I don't need to buy every single thing PlayStation has to offer if it's not for me. Uh, I got Helldivers 2. I enjoyed it a lot as a live service game. Now now Concord's here, another live service game. It's PvP. Um, there hasn't really been a first-person shooter on the market in a long time in terms of exclusive for Sony, but does it necessarily mean that I need to get it just because it's been a while, just to fill a void rather than an actual genuine desire to play it? So for me, it's maybe I'll wait for reviews. I'm not in any rush to get it, but I also don't see what the big problem is that people have with it. I think that uh, the developer, Firewalk, I think they worked really hard on this. It seems like they're very passionate about it, and I feel bad that people are down on it. They're giving it the dislike ratio is really extreme on YouTube for the trailer and stuff like that. But it's whatever. Anyway, I wasn't interested in Concord. Exactly, and and that's okay. It's okay to not be interested in it, but it's just surprised me uh, how intense people were in their hatred towards this game. You know, for me, it's if I wasn't interested in it, I'm just not interested in it, and that's the end of it. I don't think it's a big punch to the gut if it doesn't appeal to me. But anyway, that was just my first impression of the game. I was just like, oh, this looks like a cute little game. It has a little bit of a sense of humor to it, and finally we're seeing what it is. I think the first reveal of it we ever saw was just a hamburger on a ship or something. We had no idea what the game was going to be. But yeah, that was that. Other than that, what was they had God of War Ragnarok PC for September, which whatever. I think I have a friend who would be very happy about that because he's been waiting for the game to come out on PC. He played the original game on PS4, the 2018 game. And then there's other games. There was Dynasty Warriors Origins coming out 2025. Not really my thing. There's Infinity Nikki, which is coming out third quarter of 2024. It's kind of like a dress-up game. It's not for us, Palpa. It's pretty much a girls' game. It's supposed to be kind of almost like a princess game, where you can get in cute little outfits or whatever, in a very wholesome way. It's a kids' game, but I don't think the demographic is for men at all. Then you have Ballad of Antara 2025. Didn't really interest me. Skydance's Behemoth for PSVR. Alien Rogue Invasion for PSVR coming out this year. Both of those. I don't have a PSVR 2, so. But I'm glad that whoever bought that machine, that device, is actually getting something. It's good to see that there's some support going on for it. Then they had that Marvel's online game or whatever. Not really my thing, but it looks like it would be fun. Oh, Marvel Rivals. That new Marvel game, yeah. It looks good. I don't think I'm gonna get it. Um, Especially since we know Insomniac's going to be releasing a lot of Marvel stuff. They're pretty much going to become the Marvel studio. Um, I gotta discipline myself. I don't need to play every Marvel thing that comes around the corner. Even though I did enjoy Spider-Man, and I like Venom and stuff like that. Then there's that Where Winds Meet. I don't know much about it. It didn't really appeal. Until Dawn remake. I never played the original Until Dawn. And I know that people are like, it has been like 10 years, so I guess it kind of warrants a remake. More so than, say, Horizon Zero Dawn, but I've never played that game, and I know it's like a cool little, like, you know, choose your own adventure type of horror game. And, you know, kind of like going into like the whole, like, you know, Scream thriller type horror game, genre. That might be something I pick up just to check out. Other than that, Path of Exile 2. The only reason this caught my attention is that it's a couch co-op. It's cross-play with cross-progression. I like when games offer a lot of support for stuff like that. I love anything couch co-op. I've never I've never played Path of Exile, but it looked fun. It looked like it would be a fun couch co-op. I just guess I've never played the first one, so I don't even know if going into the second one makes sense or not, or you know, seemed like a cool little like top-down kind of like hack and slash type thing. And then what was there? There was Silent Hill 2. I'm not a Silent Hill person, but I'm hearing that these remasters aren't really impressing the really hardcore people. But I guess that's that. And then Monster Hunter Wilds. I think people were really excited about that. Again, I've just never played those type of games. And then yeah, finally Astrobot, coming out September 6th. This is a game I'll be getting. I enjoyed Astro's Playroom. I like that this game is kind of getting the Crash 4 treatment, where it's, you know, it's going to be like 80 levels. It's going to be like a $60 game. It looks way more than a tech demo now. It looks like a full-fledged game, and yeah, this was the star of the show for me. Again, I had to think to myself, I was like, is this like, am I excited for this just because it's a Sony game and that it's kind of been a light year, or am I actually, like, sometimes I have to check myself. I'm like, am I actually like genuinely excited like about a game like this? And absolutely. I love platformers. Doesn't matter if it's a, you know, it's all kid friendly. And plus Astrobot is such a great game to explore like the PlayStation heritage. And that's very unique to this platform. I feel like that's something you need to experience. I really enjoyed Astrobot. I love how they utilize the DualSense controller. I'm excited for it. I'm pre-ordering that the minute it becomes available. Are you going to get the deluxe version? The physical deluxe version, or are you going to get standard or the digital version? I think I'm honestly I'll consider getting the deluxe version. See what that's about. Whatever it has to offer. Nah, just the standard version. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be fun. I'm very excited for what's on the horizon. I feel like this year is actually turning out to be better than I thought it would. Right now I only have Helldivers 2 and South Park Snow Day for this year. But Astrobot will be a welcome addition. I'm looking forward to see what could be shown tomorrow. I'm also excited to see what Microsoft has to show because it's pretty much a third-party showcase for us at this point. There's rumors right now that Halo Combat Evolved is being remastered and that they're considering it to release on PS5. We already know that they've released Sea of Thieves and those 3 other games, Pentiment, Grounded, and Hi-Fi Rush. Sea of Thieves is a homegrown Xbox game. I could see from a corporate perspective them thinking, oh, Halo Combat Evolved, it's such an old game. It came out 2001. You know, I guess anyone who's bought it by now on Xbox has already bought it. We can find a new audience with PlayStation. Might as well release it. But from an Xbox fandom perspective, it's like that's like your tentpole game, your flagship IP. So it is kind of, you know, I mean, from my perspective, I would love all games. From a consumer perspective, all games to be available for everybody in a perfect world. But you need exclusives to drive business and for competition. That's the nature of business. So from a business perspective, I don't know if the decision is wise or not, but it makes sense. It's a very old game, over 2 decades old. Halo on PlayStation, interesting. Honestly, if there's, I have Halo 1 through 4 for Xbox 360. I will gladly get Halo again for PS5. Imagine that with trophies. I'm so down for that. Okay, there's a door here. I don't know if I'm gonna go through it yet. Go. Alright, we're in a big area again. Let's see. Can I get in here is the question. Nope. As for predictions for what we can expect for Summer Game Fest, so far the first thing that I saw that's I think supposed to be a shoe-in at the show, which kind of interests me because I've never played any of these games, but I never played any of these games. I never owned any of these games. Rather, I have played one of them at a friend's house once, but the new EA Skate game. I'm interested to see what that is. I'm hoping it's kind of like an offline, that you can play it offline. You don't need an internet connection or something like some live service thing or anything. But I've never played the skate games, and I'd be interested in it because it definitely has proven itself as a franchise, as a beloved franchise for people beyond the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series. It's more sim-like and simulation and more, I guess, involved with, the in-between moments of skating rather than the arcadiness. It's about time we hear about that skate game. Yeah, it's been a while. I remember, like, last time they announced that they were going to announce it or something like that. Or they announced that they were working on it, which was, it just seemed redundant. But yeah, I'm interested to see what something like that. I'm interested to see what Activision is doing beyond Call of Duty, if anything. We already know that Toys for Bob is going to be working independent in partnership with Microsoft. They released that little card of it's like a purple backdrop with a little heart. Ooh, there's a coin in the fountain. Of course there is. We pretty much more or less know that Spyro 4 is in development. But I wonder if there's anything else on the pipeline. Like, can we see something like a Crash 5? Can we see something like, um, maybe a Tony Hawk something? I don't know. I have no idea. But that would be nice, wouldn't it? Banjo-Kazooie is a big, well, people are speculating, especially with now with the partnership with Microsoft. There could be multiple projects in the works for this, with Toys for Bob. Well, at least with Toys for Bob in terms of Spyro and maybe a Banjo-Kazooie. I don't know if Crash... I'm guessing Crash is still under Toys for Bob. I always wonder what the hell is Beanox's role in all of this, because they have worked on these games before. But they seem to be in the Call of Duty service hellscape right now, which is kind of a shame.
Owen? Owen? Owen, come on! He's gotta be in the back somewhere.
They're working on Call of Duty, yeah. I saw that announcement that they're like part of all those studios that are like all hands on deck for I think Black Ops 6 or something. It sucks. Don't worry, Beanox, I'll get you out of there. I'm so glad Toys for Bob escaped, but Beanox is the next on the docket to be saved. But I don't know. In a perfect world. What does this game want me to do? Can I get on this truck? Other than that, I've managed to beat BioShock 2. Really enjoyed the ending. What do you think about Jeff Keighley? I'll answer that in a second. Let me just wrap up this thought. Is that BioShock 2 is... I think I enjoyed the second game more than the first game, honestly. I found it to be very cathartic towards the end. I felt like I had more of a grasp on the story this time around. Not that BioShock 1's bad. It's just as great. But I really enjoyed it. Apparently there's like several endings, or maybe one or two different endings or whatever. It seems like I got the good ending, or the because. But oh, here's where I need to be. But yeah, I beat that, and I feel like I can platinum this game if I really want to. If I give it another go, I would have to play it over again, obviously, but I got a lot out of the way. I ended up, I think about a little over 60% trophy completion.
Hello?
Thank you. As for Jeff Keighley, you know, I was thinking recently, I feel like every year, or twice a year, he hosts the Summer Game Fest and he hosts the Game Awards, and I feel like people really give this guy a hard time. You know, they're like, oh, mention some political thing, they find out something like, oh, it takes, for 1 minute of trailer, it's going to be $250,000. It costs $250,000 as a spot to pay for. which is not out of the. It's no different than how big events like this work when it comes to advertising. So I don't know what people are trying. Like people are trying to find fault in this, how ridiculous that is. But I think it's actually a very common practice. You know. I mean, this is like the Super Bowl of games, and you're gonna get a spot to be featured. There is like a question of like how do indie games show up at events like this then, and you know advertise their games if because obviously they're not they don't have as much money so.
Maybe.
But I don't know. I feel like people are always trying to find a problem with him. I think he does a good job for what he does. I think people shouldn't take him too seriously when it comes to like he seems to very much enjoy games. Like he seems to have a very authentic love for games, even if he has to play the PR side of things and like and be friendly with the video game developers and the studios and the publishers, and you know kind of like he kind of has to play both characters in terms of being like man of the people, man of the gamers, and also someone who can work with these studios and not and tiptoe around all like the red tape and the you know the whole public relations side to it and all that. I have nothing against him. I'm imagining we're gonna see something from Kojima at this thing because I feel like him and Kojima are they're very friendly with each other. Oh, I gotta break this. Do I have anything to throw? They love each other, yeah. I feel like... What am I supposed to do with this? Oh, maybe I can throw it over this one. Ah, gotcha. Did I not throw it over? Ugh. Damn it.
What should I do for you?
I sure miss E3. I always wanted to go for one growing up. Yeah, it's a time that's kind of past us. I heard from a lot of like insider or people who used to go to those things. They say that even in like the final few years of E3, it was no longer the same for people. Because it used to be an expo for... It wasn't for the fans, it was more for the...
Swear to God, if you give me shit about this glass.
It was more for like the business people and all that. But it was always fun, and I heard that when it started to become more about like letting the public in, it became a little lesser. I've heard, but it still would have been fun to do. Like E3 2016 was like a really great year. I think 2017 was also great. 2013 would have been awesome to be at. But yeah, we still get it spiritually though, which is what this time of year. The Summer Game Fest and these little showcases and the state of plays that all seem to happen around the same time. So I'm all about it.
Okay. Okay, your pack's here. Is that blood?
I also managed to get back into, because after I beat Bioshock 2, I was like, let's not go into Bioshock Infinite right away. Let's like take a moment to kind of just like play some games casually and not feel like I need to like complete anything at the moment. So I actually went into Crash 4 again, and I managed to get 3 more gems. Two of them were hidden, and this is the luxury I have of never looking it up. I never look up the hidden gems. I just let them stay hidden, so that way when I can come back to it, I can chisel away at the completion of this game and kind of still get a feeling of like that the game is still alive. You know, that I haven't just like did it all in one go and then and then I would have to do it over again sometime. I never look it up. And now that I haven't looked it up, I have completed all the hidden gems in the game. So I have the last two that were holding me up were Building Bridges, which is the one where you ride the polar bear, but it starts off with Tawna. That one I've been combing through that level for years now since it's released, and like going by slowly. I've been like falling off, like with Tawna, I would fall off the cliff and then double jump my way back on just to see if the gem was like hidden behind the cliff. What's it called? And I was trying to find it forever, and but I'm like, I got through the Tawna part, and I'm like, it's not here. It can't be. And it was on the inverted. Like, I'm doing this in the inverted stage that I can't get this gem. And I already got the gem in the regular stage, and I know where it was, and it's in the Tawna section, but I'm like thinking, I'm like, is there any rhyme or reason to this? Do they switch it up? Do they make it do they put it back into the Crash stage? The Crash half of the level or whatever? So I'm like, okay, let's try it. I'm trying to comb through it. The only thing that was making me think it must be around here is the whole polar riding the polar bear riding section. I'm like, where the heck is it though? Because so I allowed myself to crash into every single tree, trying to get around every single tree. Like it was like a slow burn of just trying to really study every little nook and cranny of it. And then I realized at one point I see it. It's when the big tree falls, the big pine tree falls from Cortex, and you cannot see it because the snow, like when the tree falls, the snow kind of like creates this dust, and because it's inverted, it has that like comic book style filter, so it's even harder to see. But it's behind the stump, and I was like, that's where it is. I found it. And the other one was at Rock Blocked with Dingo, when you start off as Dingo and then you end with Crash. And I ended up getting it by accident without realizing it. And I was a little frustrated because I knew it should have been there, but apparently there's a problem with the hitbox for this gem, where you literally need to jump as high as you can in order to get it. You need to be like if you're a millimeter off, you're not going to get it. And it's when Dingodale's jumping in the side scroller part, and there's like a big leaf that's overhanging, and it's inside the leaf from the bottom. So I ended up getting that. The Insanely Perfect relics, I have half of them so far. Pretty much like the first half of the game I have completed. Actually, I only actually have, because now I actually have only 4 gems left in the game to get. and it's actually what was the other gem I got? Oh yeah, I got the three get through the level in 3 lives max on Create Escape, which I ended up getting very lucky in just being able to do. Like, really, what you need to do with that is you need to get past the Cortex part, and you just need to learn the trial and error of the Cortex part. It's the last part though, with Crash jumping on the crates in the air, like when the crates are falling from the plane. There's really no way. It's really hard to study that part of the game, that part of the level, because it's happening. It's coming at you quick. So you either have to, do a double jump or a single jump and just hope that you're gonna land as you go across. But I managed to do it. I got through with like one. I think I only died once. So that's that. The last 4 that I need though, and what really kind of pissed me off, because I had to, I went through, like, because this is another thing. I've gone through toxic tunnels so many times at this point. It's like I know it off the back of my hand, like every single nook and cranny of that level. And every time I would try to go for the box gem, I was always missing like 2 boxes, every single time. And I'm like, where the hell is it? Every time I play this level over again, I'm like, I must have it. There's no way I didn't get it or whatever. Like, this is like where it got me to the breaking point where I was like, let me look up what the heck, like let me just Google where are these 2 boxes that are missing in Toxic Tunnels and see if someone has the same problem. And apparently, it's a bugged. The level is bugged. You actually have to complete the level without dying. Basically, go for the insanely perfect relic in order to get all of the boxes, because there are 2 boxes in the beginning of the level that will not save if you die, if this bug activates. So pretty much the game's the level's bugged. I would have to go for the insanely perfect relic anyway, but it kind of disappointed me that I spent so long playing this level over and over, thinking I'm missing something or I'm doing something wrong. It just ended up being that the game is not complete, and that it actually is giving me a Crash Bandicoot 1 for PS1 problem, where the checkpoints aren't saving the boxes regardless if I died or not. Yeah, it's actually bugged. There's a whole Reddit thread about it. I looked it up on Reddit. Everyone's talking about it. There's 2 boxes that if you somehow activate the bug somehow, and I don't know how I'm activating or not activating it, but obviously you're dying a lot on that level. But especially since you have to go through like that the colored gem paths that are on it. But yeah, if you die, there's 2 boxes in the very beginning of the level, which you can't get back to if you're far along into the level, that will actually reappear again. So there's that, and I also have to, I think I have to do 3 max each for both the inverted and the regular version of Cortex Castle, which possible. We'll see.
Hey, Owen?
But I'm chiseling away at it. Basically, I only need 4 more gems. So I have to say though, finding every hidden gem that I found without looking anything up, it's rewarding. It's rewarding when you figure it out. Alright, let's not go through the crab door yet. Let's see what's over here. That's locked. What can I get through somehow? You going for time trials, right? Now, this is the thing. I was like, okay, the toxic tunnels are bugged. Cortex Castle, I want to take a break. Like, I'm not going to dive into just yet. Let me do a time trial. I did the first level, which I have a gold currently on. I did the first level. I'm like, let me see if I can shave some time off or whatever. I ended up shaving 10 seconds off my time for the gold, and yet I'm still 10 seconds away from the platinum. And I'm thinking to myself, this sucks. This is the first level. I'm doing everything right. I'm doing the speed spin thing. To me, it's just, I don't like it. I actually hate this time trials in the Crash 4. I know I've talked about it before, but I miss the speed shoes. It used to be fun to do time trials and challenging, and even when you failed, it was like you were motivated to keep trying. With this, I feel nothing. I feel, I just feel grossed out. I'm like, ugh, this sucks. Dude, I can get the dev relic if I wanted to. You can, but I can't, and it's impossible. Like, it's so bad. It's bad design. I shouldn't have to be playing a mini game. Like, I shouldn't have to be, when I'm doing a time trial, it should be me against the clock. I should be timing my platforming. I should be timing the obstacles that I'm up against. I shouldn't be having to play a little extra meta mini game with the square button where I have to time out my spins in order to get these spins going or whatever. It's ridiculous. Maybe it's like, I'm a little past 30 at this point. Maybe young guys like you can do it. Maybe there's just something that just clicks with you more than me. But for me, it's just like, it goes against my play style. It goes against what I loved about the original time trials for Crash Warped. And then even with Crash 1 and 2, they were fine. The levels are shorter in those games, so it becomes more of a... There's more replayability to it. This is just like... It's like 4-minute, 5-minute levels each. And it's like, you have to keep mashing the button. It sucks. It's not fun to me. This is coming from someone who's Platinum Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2, which is my rarest and hardest Platinum I've done. And that's a game that takes a lot of skill. But that's something that's just like in my blood at this point. Crash 4, it's not my blood. I promise you, I was in that exact same position you are in. I mean, I'll take your word for it. But it's just... It sucks, but I promise you, Platinum relics in this game are gold relics. I mean, I really have to be in the right headspace for it. It's almost like I have to dedicate a day for a level, if I'm gonna do it. And then maybe things will start to fall into place more. Maybe I'll come across levels that are like I'll be able to do in a couple of tries. But I assume that the first level I could do that. But the first level just gives me more of a headache. And I'm thinking, I play these later levels and I'm like, oh my god, I can't imagine doing this level in a time trial. The amount of trial and error that must happen. But the first two levels are the way to go. And yet, I'll give it a stab. You know, it's like I'll try it, but I have no sticking power with it. I'm just glad I got those 3 gems. It took a while, but I got them. Where am I, and where am I supposed to be is the question here.
Hey, you in there?
Not that way. Looks like Owen's camping out over here. Possibly.
Of course.
I don't think they're gonna put any coins around here, right? Other than that, I've been playing Chivalry 2. That's a game where I can relax. I can play with friends if they're available, but I've been playing alone. I'll throw a podcast on and listen, and it's such a fun game. It's almost like a sport, that game. But it's like, You know, I, had to, I should do a play. I should do an episode of Chivalry 2 of me playing online because it really is a lot of fun. I feel like it would be fun to watch just as much as it's fun for me to play. A lot of carnage and a lot of strategy and um, like when you do a siege, is like it's cool to see the different progressions of each map and stuff. Yeah, that and Helldivers 2 will be a cool episode as like a one-off, you know. Because at least with like Crash Team Rumble, I featured every character in that online game. With Helldivers 2 and Chivalry 2, there's a lot to show, but it's like I don't need to go into a whole series of it. I can just do like a one-off or, you know, two, if anything. Those games are a lot of fun. What's going on here?
Owen?
Fucking cruel. Isaac sends you after me.
He didn't. What is all this?
Gotta take her apart if I'm gonna fix her back up.
I see.
Want some?
Pass.
Suit yourself.
Danny's dead.
Figured.
You want to tell me what happened?
We were cleaning out a small camp. It's just a couple scars, and I hit this one on the head hard. And he goes down, and his weapon's right there. And he doesn't go for it. Instead, he turns to me. And he's old. And tired. He was just ready. Killed a lot of scars. And fucking guy. I couldn't do it. Of course, Danny gets in my fucking face about it. I told him I'm done. He can do it himself if he wants. And he points his fucking gun at me. So I grab it, and then... First, I didn't even know which one of us was shot.
You defended yourself.
Stop.
I can fix this. I'll talk to Isaac.
I am tired, Abby. I don't want to fight over land that I don't give a fuck about anymore. I'm going to Santa Barbara.
To chase a rumor?
I've heard it more than once.
The Fireflies aren't regrouping. They're gone.
It's a lead. I gotta see it through.
What about Mel?
She'll be safe here.
Okay. We'll talk in the morning when you're sober.
Don't do that.
Do what?
Treat me like I'm fucking insane. You feel the same way.
If the Fireflies are in Santa Barbara, I go the opposite fucking direction. What?
Nothing.
Sorry I grew up. You should try it.
Oh yeah, how do I do that? Should I go find the people that killed my family? Cut into them? I could torture them until they're crying, you know? Abby.
Those fucking kids. Shit. We need to get them out of there before it's too late. What the hell am I doing? They're fucking scars.
I really like that. I feel like Owen's been meaning to say this for a long time. It seems like it's always on his mind in subtext whenever he's with Abby, where he says like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Torture them? Are you gonna make them feel? Are you gonna? Like he knows it's all bullshit, but he knows she needs this. She needs some sense of closure, some sense of like payback, some sense of something. Um, but he's done, and it's a very real moment when he says that. When he describes this old person, this old Scar, who gets beaten down, and his weapons in right there in within reaching distance, and he just doesn't reach for it. And it's almost like he's been waiting. He's like he's just tired. He's done. And how that gets to Owen. There's Owen sees the humanity in that, and apparently that doesn't cut it with his partner Danny. They just see it as it's a black and white war between two factions, and it's like fighting over land. What land? Like it's a wasteland. Um, it's it's very interesting how that's what kind of sets Owen off, where he's like, "I'm done," and there's a lead, not a confirmation, but just a lead, an inkling that the Fireflies might be around in Santa Barbara, and he has to follow it. And it's like it's that or what else? It just constant death and violence and hell and demons that will just follow him for the rest of his life, like this old man, you know. Endless violence, endless war, endless. It's just awful. It's no way to live. And if that means turning your back on the people who give you shelter and everything, like a guy like Isaac, not being in his good graces, then what is life if you don't do that, or pursue something better, something more hopeful? Even Isaac was saying a couple episodes ago that he was getting tired of all this, and that they're willing to move on because it's just getting to be too much with these scar religious guys. But it's interesting how that's what kind of he's realized this truth, and he's laying the truth bomb on Abby that you're on a fruitless task to find to find peace through such awful means of destruction and everything. And I think this is what awakens that truth brought them together. Yes, it was a sex scene. Nothing wrong with that. It's played pretty just like any other HBO show or film that has a sex. I think people aren't used to that in video games, obviously. But it meant something. It wasn't something that was just a gratuitous sex. It for them to come together after almost being at odds with each other, and now Abby has this nightmare again. I love how they keep coming back to the hospital room and having that dread of going down the hallway with the alarm bells going off. That is such a strong moment. I think this is like the third time we've done it so far. I think we did it in the beginning. They showed it in the beginning, and they showed it again with young Abby finding her father. Or no, they did it again with Ellie. Not with the alarm, but going back to investigate the hospital room, and then realizing the truth of what Joel did. And then this is like the fourth time we're kind of coming back. I love how we keep coming back to it. And then she's having a nightmare. And every time we open that door, we don't know what we're about to find. But then she sees Liv and Yara. And in the same way that Owen has empathized with this old man, it's almost like her subconscious is screaming at her like, these two kids are mixed up in a really fucked up situation. They're being raised by insanity, by insane religious nuts who are killing people and everything. And it's already a world where they have to survive on their own, so it is rough. They have to it's kill or be killed type of a world. But on top of that, with the whole religious, like the whole every faction believing that they're in the right, and it's like they're just young kids at the end of the day, and she feels something for them, and she's already rescued them once, and but they're stuck back here, and I think Owen kind of inspires her to find something more than just. I think she felt something when she was able to rescue them, and it was almost like it's something more than just, oh, let me fulfill my revenge fantasy. She's finding something else, something more profound, and something that can probably heal her too, with what she's going through. So it's very interesting. They love each other. I think we're at that point where we've reached 69, 70 messages, and there's a glitch in the chat, which is what I was just about to say. I don't know if you said anything beyond the dot, but if you did, let me know as I wrap this up. Anyway, that's just my little summation of that moment, and now she's on her way to find them. Pretty interesting. This is what I like about this playthrough, by the way, is that when I played the game the first time around and the second time around, because you need to play it twice, is that I didn't really like I absorbed the story beats, but being able to talk it out, it's therapeutic, and it's given me a deeper understanding of what this game is actually really going for. So I hope we can get something out of that whenever I take the time to just chat and talk and discuss and delve. But we'll call it there. We'll return soon because we got a lot of PlayStation news that should be coming. Some third-party news, hopefully, of interest. Tomorrow will be Summer Game Fest. I think June 9th is the Xbox showcase. And yeah, there's a lot of interesting things on the horizon. So we'll return next time. Pulpa Pig, it's been a pleasure. Anyone out there who wants to like, comment, or subscribe to Kev Plays 9490 on YouTube, it's greatly appreciated. You can also follow me on Twitter at Let's Watch Series. Some big game coming soon. I feel it. I feel like there's something else for this year. Maybe beginning of next year, but something else. Next year is going to be great. Next year we're going to have GTA 6, Death Stranding 2, Judas. Those are three like 10-pole games for me. But there's so much more. I feel like we're in for something. I feel like video games are about to explode soon because we're at that latter stage, that latter half. I feel like of the generation. So, hoping for something interesting. Other than that, yes. So, everyone out there, stay safe, stay healthy, keep a clear head, and keep on gaming. And I'll catch you all next time. Peace out. Pelpa, I'll see you on the Twitter, the X, as it were. Twitter. Peace out.